Yeah, so whenever you have a situation where you go to an account executive with a lender and you say yes to a certain weird one-off situation, and then the answer ends up being no, it's just communicating with the client. You just kind of have to take it like, hey, I'm so sorry. I mean, I just had it happen with a USDA loan. I mean, in these weird loan products, just understand that there's always weird situations and stipulations. So I believe big time in setting the precedent up front that, okay, you're asking me about a very specific loan product. It's going to have some weird nuances, and I'm going to try to dive into them. Even USDA, whenever someone says, oh, this property qualifies USDA, I tell them, just so you're aware, USDA is very tricky. It's a really weird loan. Even if someone is a master at USDA, I have to get so many details from you that it's not going to be oh, I can give you a pre-approval letter in a couple hours. This is I need a couple days thing. And the reason we need to be good about saying this kind of stuff is we're getting people who, a lot of times it's, of course, the people who their situation isn't super straightforward, that they're the ones, right, Mary, who are just ready to write an offer right now. I'm not a US citizen and my stuff is expired, but you can do it, right? Because I'm already in contract on a house. You're like, well, hold on. This is something that would normally take me days to figure out, because if it's like, yes, if you check all these boxes. In order to check these boxes, I need to get very specific documents from you. But here's the thing is, I'm going to go to a lender who can say yes. Their account executives, they don't know. They really don't know. And so the trick is you got to ask them like, hey, do you have somewhere, where I can go to read up about what is going to be required past this? Because if you say, yes, we can do a FHA manual underwrite if there's a Chapter 13 bankruptcy under 2 years. Well, what would be a reason why you would say no? What's a common denial? And if they can't give you that kind of details, it's very tricky. And you almost have to set the precedent of, let's hold off on ordering appraisals. If we can hold off on ordering inspections, you got to understand that I don't know what would be a common denial. Do not go to ChatGPT. Do not do it, because it's just going to pull from some random article someone wrote somewhere else who's trying to get business, right? So that's my best answer. And also, everything comes in waves, right? And so we have a trend of things that happen. Like we'll have a trend of really rude listing agents. We'll have a trend of sellers not disclosing major issues with the house. We'll have a trend of borrowers who have weird things come up on their credit report. Right now, our trend is I'm waiting till the last minute to ask for to talk to a loan officer. But then I'm frustrated if a loan officer doesn't talk to me within the same day that I reach out, but then I don't send documents right away. And then the documents I do send, it's not the most straightforward situation. So one of the things I'm doing with a lot of the agents I work with is I'm making a video on Google Meets, try to do a decent camera. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but something that at least looks semi-professional. Like I'll even do a UWM t-shirt. Some of you will have one, which I do need to get all of your t-shirt sizes if you're coming out to Michigan in December, because we have zip-up jackets for everyone and t-shirts, Purpose Home Lending ones. Yeah, zip-up hoodies. I guess if you're local like Mary, if you ever get your license approved for Purpose Home Lending, you can have one. Yeah. So I record a video, and so one of the agents is Monique Lawson. Now, I should be careful saying this because it's a recording. I don't know if it was her having trouble getting them to talk to a loan officer before seeing a bunch of houses, or what. It sounds like the loan officer in her company was dropping the ball reaching out to people. And so he splits the cost on Zillow leads and is not picking up the phone and calling the Zillow leads. And So she had to go to her company owner and say, hey, I've been showing these people houses. I have no idea if they're pre-approved. Can I switch them? Well, now they're ready to write offers on houses. And I'm having to rush and when they're the second someone says, oh, I own a business, go, oh shit. That's what you should say. I need to see your last 2 years tax returns before I say anything, because you're going to go to the net operating income. So you go to profit and loss statement. If you'll see mileage, you can add mileage back in, but then it's super easy to calculate self-employed. Go to net operating income on the Schedule C or the profit and loss statement, and it'll say net operation income. That's what you're qualifying. You can go up to the profit and loss and see mileage and add that back in. Not truck expenses, not auto repairs, not buying a vehicle, mileage. Add that back in, add the 2 years up and divide it by 24 months or 24. That's how much they make. And a lot of times, I got a guy who makes like $200,000, $300,000, but really he makes $8,000 a year. And it's like, okay, that's tough to get around. But there's things you can do. So with that being said, I got these, both people saw a house that they had to write an offer on like that night. And so it's really hard and it gets frustrating. I have another agent I work with that he has a really hard time getting people to talk to me before they're ready to write the offer on the house. And that's a lot, right? Because that basically means you personally as the loan officer have to stop everything you're doing to harass them day in and day out to get documents to you in order to make sure that the loan will go through. And so I have to tell people, listen, you're wanting me to get you a pre-approval right now for the perfect house. You should have talked to me 2 weeks ago when you started this process. But I'm willing to do it. It's just I'm going to have to harass you in order to do it, and you're probably going to get frustrated with me. So instead of doing that, I don't want to have that conversation with clients because I can't think of a way to nicely say it. I don't want to have the conversation with the real estate agent because I can't think of a way to nicely say, why is this such an issue to get them to talk to me before they find the perfect house? Like, you are their advisor, advise them properly. I can't think of a nice way to saying that. So instead, in my infinite, not wisdom, but I just had the idea of, I'm going to record a video. Can you just, every time you get a new client and you bring up talking to a loan officer, send them this video link. And I basically just said, hey, my name is Cameron Ripley with Purpose Home Lending. I work with Monique Lawson, or I work with this agent, because I don't want to say the guy's name. I work with this agent, and I wanted to make this video in case you're nervous to talk to a loan officer. Some of the common myths is, I do not pull your credit until you feel confident in the loan options that I give you. I'm going to try to give you multiple options, but even then, I usually start with a soft pull on your credit. Once you find the house and we get into contract, then we typically have to do a hard pull, but I like to wait. That way, there's no harm or no hit on your credit. I like to just get on an initial phone call, get an idea of your situation so I know maybe what documents to ask for and what loan products to present as a quote. So you feel comfortable and confident, and then I'll work on collecting documents from you just so that we're prepared for when you find the right house. That's quick, short video. I look forward to talking to you. Monique or Nate should be putting us in a group text for us to talk more. That video, I think is going to really, one, set you apart, but it's going to get people off the fence of not talking to you. But the agents who work with clients and show them house after house after house, knowing that they never talk to you, they're probably more likely to start talking to you, if that makes sense. So any agent who says they want to work with you, I think that's a great video to share with them and say, hey, I know we haven't had a chance to work together yet, but I think this is a great custom video to send to any clients that are waiting until they find the perfect house in order to talk to me, because we're having this weird situation where people are wanting to talk to us after they find the perfect house, and I don't even know if I can make the loan work because of their situation. So if you want to make this part of your habit, I think it could really help convert clients. because that's the way you word it. You don't say, oh, don't waste your time. It's more, hey, I want you to convert more clients. I think this will help. That's the language we want to use, if that helps. With that being said, and on track with that, the way it works is when people complete an application, day one, you got to make the habit. And I'm trying to get Haley set up on Blank Plus. Did we ever get you set up on that? No. Okay. Can you send an email to Charlie asking for an update on that? Say Cameron mentioned getting added to Blank Plus as a processor, and we can't figure it out. Who do we reach out to? So she's going to go through, and then those of you who have arrived, she's going to go through as soon as someone completes an application, she's going to go and opt them out. But that is something you want to do. Now, with UWM, when we're ready to get someone really pre-approved, we usually do the soft pull from all three bureaus, because UWM, once you get into underwriting, they will opt out the client. The problem is if you get a client with a low credit score and they need to do a rapid rescore, basically, like I have one where his score came back at 540. Can't do it. Yeah, it's got to be 580 for USDA to use UWM. There are other lenders that might do down to 540, but I don't want to work with them, and there's no way they're probably going to do it. So I go to, what I do is I do a soft pull from all three bureaus. It's called Safe Check Complete. We now have a link that I'm going to be posting on Discord for them to pay for that themselves. So like Mary, you've had this where you pay for it and people just they disappear. Well, I had a bill of $800 last month in credit reports. Yeah. And that was not super fun, and people shot me. So I'm now requiring that people pay for it. And the way I word it is I say, hey, there's two options here. I can do a soft pull from all three bureaus, so there's no hit on your credit. It's really accurate. One of the main lenders we work with, they will honor those findings and go through underwriting until we're pretty much ready to close before they do the hard pull. That way, if something were to come up, there's still no hit on your credit. If you have to cancel because the house is falling apart, no hit on your credit. If the loan can't go through, God forbid, no hit on your credit. The other thing is it'll give us a huge indicator, or we'll opt you out so that the credit bureaus cannot sell your information. Because otherwise, if I do a hard pull right now, you're going to get 50 phone calls in a day from the most sleaziest lenders out there, even just like life insurance companies. To random anything. The credit bureaus sell your information like crazy. There's a lot of bills trying to work their way through Congress to prevent that, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. So it's up to you. We can send you a link. It's $77.50. So you can pay it, and then we'll run it, and we'll still do a lot of the work on our end for free. Or I could do the hard pull now. It's cheaper to do the soft pull for you in the long run if you want to go that route. People say, yep, just send me the link. And you send them the link, just say, hey, please notify me once you pay. I'm trying to figure out a way for them to put their name when they pay. And I got to figure that out, but essentially it should notify me, oh, this person paid, and then we'll go ahead and order that on UWM. Now, if their credit needs repair, it's pretty easy. So if you ever talk to a credit repair person, don't work with them. We just go to Boost through UWM. It's $14. I'll pay for it. They give us a plan, and I have someone that just had to pay down their credit card. They did it. I then had to do the hard pull, which is why it's important to opt them out ahead of time. And we can do a rapid rescore. And basically their score, I had two people in the last couple weeks or month that I spent just a little bit of money, but we got their credit score up like 60 points in a week by doing one thing. Like one guy had to pay off a passed owed credit card. This other one had to pay down a balance they put $900 on it. His credit score went from 540 and it's about to go up to 620. So he gets way better interest rates too. So But that is
Sorry,
something.
Cameron.
Yeah.
So you don't need us to do opt-out-prescreen.com anymore. Haley does all that.
I would do it just in case.
Okay.
He does it too. That's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, I would still do it because I've had it where I thought, oh, we're just going to do the soft pull anyway, and UWM will opt them out. But then I need to do the rapid rescore. And so now I have to have the conversation. Hey guys, you're going to get about 50 phone calls. I do apologize, but it is what, like, I have to do the hard pull right now because you can't do the rapid rescore without a hard inquiry.
Really, really quick. Do you ever have a conversation with a client instead of having like a race to the bottom? If they do get contacted by, a different agency or whatever, instead of getting in that race to the bottom for better rates and that, do you ever have a conversation of like trying to sell just the value of our services instead? It's like, hey, you may get better rates from other people, but this is what we have to offer. Have you ever had that conversation?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think, when I was a real estate agent, this guy would always win over my clients. And even he would say, I don't have the cheapest rates, but his selling point was always, I guarantee your loan. I guarantee that when I look at your file, that it's going to be approved. Where other lenders, they don't dive into depth on your file. Notice how I'm going to ask, if you do talk to anyone, it depends if you know that they're going to talk to someone. If someone says, oh, I'm shopping for interest rates, I usually say, well, I'm going to ask for more documents than a lot of people because I'm going to guarantee that your loan is going to go through. Now, some people have really straightforward situations and they already know, like they're seasoned, wealthy, good income, good credit, and they think my credit score is going to go through. But you just taking the time to make a phone call, to take their call initially before taking their application, you sending them a video going over quotes and options, you're going to do way more than most people, and that will win them over. But you do get some people who are just big shoppers, and this is what happened to me. Is I think they would have used me, but then they started asking, I need the loan estimate. I'm like, no one ever asked for that. That's weird. And all they do is they take that and they go to Rocket Mortgage, who buys these leads. Rocket Mortgage, they just sign off on it and say, yep, we can beat that. Regardless if they can or not, they just figure out a way to do it. They'll just take a hit. So to me, it's more, people do get very upset when they get that 50 phone calls because they think you sold their information. Now, I have had it where I warn them and I say, hey, just be prepared. And they say, oh my gosh, you were totally right. And they're fine with that because they just want to work with me. But you just never know because people use AI to text them and they'll say like, hey, if you're getting a loan estimate, we can beat it. I promise we can beat it. Like that's the kind of messages they're getting. And, if they see payments that they're not comfortable with, I mean, they start to get incentivized by these messages they're getting to reach out and get a different quote. Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, yes, if you have to, like I have to sometimes because I didn't opt them out in time and I have to do the hard pull. And I just have to have that conversation and I warn them and say multiple times, like, hey, just so you know, you're going to get a lot of messages, but these are sleazy lenders and they're just trying to screw you over. They're the ones that pay to solicit the hell out of you. And that's the way that they do business. So, and it works. Like, I know I talk to a lot of people who work at other companies. They don't even know about opting out a client. And so that's just part of their business, is to have that conversation with clients up front. So that's what we avoid and teach not to do. Yeah. Yes. So that link though, I mean, to me, it's an easy conversation of, hey, it's also kind of skin in the game. It's not something you want to tell them, but you do just want to mention, hey, I'm happy to continue to send you quotes and dive into more things, but I would need you to commit on your end, by paying for this so that we can just do the soft pull through SafeCheck. It doesn't automatically do the soft pull. So then once that name comes through, we basically will pull up your file or, go to UWM because they need to be in UWM for me to do the soft pull. We can do a soft pull through Advantage Credit, which is our other credit reporting agency. It's just most lenders, including UWM, don't honor those findings. Like you have to do it through UWM's portal, which is why we have most of you start with UWM. It's like TJ, if you have a HELOC coming up and you're going to have to use Remin or Tyler, a HELOC in Texas, you have to use Remin. As soon as you get the application, opt them out and start a timer for 7 days, because that's how long it takes for them to not be a trigger lead, or have that conversation and just warn them, you know, if they need to pull the trigger right away, okay, fine, but here's how it works.
Okay, so application, opt out, 7 days, then we can start pulling if we need to.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's when we would do the hard pull on their credit. Yeah.
Cameron,
Yeah.
isn't Advantage the one that's not a FICO score?
No, it's just a credit pulling agent. It's not an agency. Advantage Credit is our credit pulling.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Vantage Score, whatever the one is that the banks
Advantage
use.
Score. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I know nothing about it, and I would say I don't think anyone knows much about it. They're trying to introduce a fourth, basically, bureau, which I think is much needed. I think what's even more needed is Matt Ishbia mentioned just doing going with a hard pull from one bureau. I think that will make the bureaus more competitive with each other. So things that should not be on someone's credit report, it's really hard to get it off. It should be easier. I think it will, but that's a whole nother conversation. I would say too, okay, these videos, when you all are going to start getting clients. I know all of you have been getting leads. Just so you know, when the news announces that there's a Fed rate drop, everyone thinks that means rates dropped. Did rates go down? How many of you think rates went down? No, they went up. Which, it's always been that way, because the Federal Reserve, their news is very negative. So even though they cut rates, it wasn't exactly how much people wanted, and their outlook on the economy is still not the most optimistic. So rates went up, but that's okay. It gets people off the fence. So we just have to remind ourselves that things are going to come very quickly. I had paid for, so UWM did this program that if you get Pro Elite 120 and you use 20,000 LO partner points and you spent $200, they would boost you on their mortgagematchup.com for the next 3 months or 2 months or something like that. So I did it, spent the 20,000 friggin' points. It was a lot of points, but I got 3 leads. Nothing came of them. One of them, I got on like 8 phone calls with the guy, and he started asking me to send him the loan estimate. I'm like, you're shopping around, aren't you? And sure enough, he just disappeared off the face of the planet. So just keep in mind that when it comes to internet leads, they're not as amazing as we all want to think. Mind you, like Brian, you have those video advertisements where it's you talking in a video. That might be totally different. Really try to foster, but even then, if someone's looking to buy a house and they get connected to an agent, who was talking to me? Oh, it was Larry. He went on LinkedIn, added a bunch of people from his past, got connected with someone who moved to Texas they went to high school with. He sent her a link to complete her application. Then she talked to her agent and disappeared. So you got to get in front of the agent first. Like whoever is going to get face to face with the client just tends to be the one that wins them over. And that even happened to Charlie and I. Charlie referred a guy to me. The guy found an agent. The guy was kind of an idiot, but we all said that the agent seemed very inexperienced, but the agent was getting a lot of face-to-face time with him. Well, he got frustrated that title and escrow fees were so high, even though it was his agent's sister company, title and escrow, and totally ditched Charlie and I and just went with the loan officer his agent recommended. So extremely frustrating for no reason. Just it's important to build those relationships. Now, it's key to only stick with people that you like or want to work with. You know, if I hear someone saying, oh, I have an agent or a loan officer I work with all the time, they're great, I have no issues with them, but I'll give you a shot. I'm not using you. Hell no. What do you mean? You have no issues with someone, but you're gonna abandon them and go with me? Why? Like that's the kind of stuff I wouldn't want to hear. I know because I just had a conversation with a guy who's wants to possibly leave the industry. He's been averaging 8 loans a month, but he's getting frustrated because he's trying to work with any and every agent out there. And so he'll have ones that send him just really odd situations, but that's it. I think those are fine, but I want to work with someone who wants to collaborate with me. And we can do any kind of activity. And that's why when you have calls with these agents and they say, you know, this is what I do to generate business, call me and let's talk about it. You don't have to set up a time. You can even just pick up the phone and call me. Because I have an agent in Tennessee that she and I created a blog together. And I do think that it could be beneficial. And we're trying to spitball ideas. And so I said, you know, where do you like to go? You and your husband, what do you like to do? Okay, you just got that client who is buying a property to house their horses. How about we create a bunch of blog posts about horse properties for sale and how it's cheaper to buy your own home with, you know, zoned for horses versus finding a stall somewhere else and paying that crazy fee. You know, if that makes sense. So it's just things that, whether that generates business or not, now I'm getting all of her Zillow leads from her company because the loan officer is not picking up the phone and answering it. Does that kind of make sense that you just never know where it could come from? But to me, my focus is always, if you get leads from the internet agent, how could we have gotten in front of that person first? What prompted them to go to Zillow or realtor.com first? Like, what was their reason why they're looking to buy or sell or whatever it might be? Here's the other thing, though, is you're going to find a lot of agents who want to use you to help them buy or refinance. That happens a lot. I mean, I looked back at last year, I did a lot of real estate agent loans because a lot of them just aren't full time. So they still work another job, and the things you say are great. And even though they don't have any clients to send to you, they could be a client. They like homes. Right, Mary? Can't tell. I don't remember if you had someone. Yeah, anyone need or anything else that anyone needs help with or anything like that? I think as you're starting to build your pipeline of agents saying, BRB, if anyone is building like if you have a pipeline of 10, 15 agents who have expressed interest in working with you, I would look at the farthest out dates with UWM and their success track. And I would say, you know, reach out to everyone and say, hey, I'm going out to UWM probably this date, and I'm going to do a raffle with all the all the real estate agents that I work with. I know we haven't had a chance to work with each other, but would you be interested in going? Here's what it's all about, right? And you could talk about it. But even just inviting these people, it's another way to connect with them. And I've gotten referrals from actually the agent in Tennessee. The second I invited her to go, she didn't know if she could go to UWM. She referred her best friend from California for a refinance. And then her hairstylist after that. So and the reason why I bring it up is UWM has now started offering 2 one-day realtor courses that they're increasing the amount of courses available. So they're doing usually it's they're doing a Wednesday and a Thursday course. So you would do either one. But they're offering more of those courses because statistically they're finding that people are getting more loans from bringing agents out to it. For those of us in California, it's a long days of travel, but It locks in relationships. Telling you.
Okay.
Except for the one time. Yeah. Except for Edlin. Right, Mary? Yeah, TJ?
I was just saying it makes sense. I I have a I have one realtor that I'm pretty sure would go, and I was kind of hesitant about extending that invitation to some other people that the relationship is not there, but using that as a catalyst to start a relationship.
Yeah.
Like you said, even if the lady couldn't go, it ended up giving a couple of leads to you. So just kind of mentally noting that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, I have felt nervous about asking people too, and then, but going is great. And then actually, who's the guy, Washington? I know, Mary, you went. Oh, shoot.
What are you talking about?
The guy who runs it most of the time.
Who runs what?
Who did the majority of the talking during the one-day realtor course? It was something in Washington.
Shoot, I don't remember.
Whatever. He sent out basically an email saying, "Hey, did you host a Zoom with the person you invited? Each individual that you invited to talk like recap the event." I'm like, "Oh, that's a good idea." But instead, I sent a recording and said, "Hey, thank you so much for going. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to call you." Each person, except for the ones that I talk to on a regular basis, because there were two others that I don't when we went out recently, and two of them said, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I've been meaning to want to call you. I want to talk about ideas and some things that they shared. It was such an amazing event." But yeah, it's just a great thing. The way that I would pitch it to people is, this is it's a one-day class. This campus is, what was it, TJ or Mary? It's like 200 million square feet. The buildings.
Something like that. There was a 2 and there was a million. Maybe 2
Yeah.
million. Yeah.
It was 2 million square feet. Maybe not 200 million. It's like
Yeah,
2
200
million.
sounds crazy.
The number was crazy. I think 2 million is still pretty crazy, but 2 million square feet. I mean, this place is incredible, but this is the number one lender for mortgages in the nation. But they bring in other speakers. They do these round tables where people can share all over the nation some of their best practices. We have gotten a lot of feedback from the agents that go, that they just absolutely love it. But we try to make it a fun time too. We try to do something the first night we get in, and the last night we're there. There's usually, they do a feast. I don't know, or mix and mingle. Yeah, we try to make it a good time. If you want to go, you just always need someone's date of birth, dietary restrictions, and the city they want to fly out of. It asks for t-shirt size when you book it, but you don't necessarily have to put the correct t-shirt size. Actually, I don't think they gave out t-shirts this last time. But anyway, yeah. So if you do plan on going, like if you find a date and you get people that want to go, just let me know. I'll go too. But otherwise, I think it's a great trip.